I'm not dead. I'm not dead.
Okay, so there's another epilogue, but for the Awakening DLC. After the deaths of both the Architect and the Mother, nearly all the remaining Darkspawn fled back into the deep roads. The raids on Amaranthine came to an abrupt end. Although some of the Architect's disciples likely escaped into the deep roads with the rest of their brethren, they have, so far, shown no inclination towards vengeance against the Grey Wardens who killed their savior. Yet the deep roads remain plagued by the Darkspawn, and it seems certain that in time another blight will begin. The danger may have passed for now, but the cycle of the old gods continues. Word of the Grey Warden's heroic salvation of Amaranthine spread like wildfire. When the magnitude of the losses at Vigil's Keep came to light, sympathy drove generous donations from all of Ferelden into the region's coffers. Amaranthine was restored to her former glory within a year, Vigil's Keep in 5. Because of the Warden's support for law and order in Amaranthine, Constable Aiden and his men were able to distribute the smugglers' goods to the battered survivors in the grueling days that followed the Darkspawn defeat. The Darkspawn messenger, set free after joining the Wardens in the Battle of Amaranthine, struck out on his own. The city soon buzzed with stories of a cloaked but lisping figure who aided travelers in danger. At the same time, reports of isolated cases of the Darkspawn disease emerged. No one connected the two. Although the war devastated many farms in the Arling, all agreed the loss would have been greater without soldiers for protection. Farmholders developed a certain reverence for the Warden Commander, as well as an ongoing reliance on the Grey Wardens for order and protection. Dirk, one of the pranksters behind the Blight Orphan scam, was fortunate enough to survive the Battle of Amaranthine. The unconditional generosity of the Blight Orphan's mysterious benefactor inspired him to establish a legitimate charity dedicated to children orphaned in the attack. His sweetheart, Meliss, eventually bore him 2 rascals. Who the fuck is Dirk? Vigil's Keep stood alone against a horde of Darkspawn. The Mother's forces outnumbered the Vigil's defenders many times over. The battle was long and furious, but the defense was doomed from the outset. Barely a soul made it out of the Vigil alive, although the Darkspawn army paid for its victory in a mountain of dead. A statue and plaque erected on the ruins of the Vigil now commemorate its defenders. Their sacrifice saved all of Amaranthine. With the Vigil destroyed, the Wardens took residence within the palace of the city of Amaranthine. For the commander, this was a politically trying time. With the loss of the Warden's military force, some of the more conniving minor nobles saw opportunity to shirk their allegiance. With Valana and the Architect gone from the region, the Pilgrim's Path began to see traffic again. The massacre of the militiamen and the merchants, however, led to hostilities between the neighboring human settlements and any Dalish clans that passed by. One human villager soon kidnapped and murdered a Dalish child. The clans reacted by giving the Wending Wood a wide berth, but both sides know that at some point the elves will return for revenge. A few years after Kal Harol was emptied of Darkspawn, Orzammar began sending expeditions to recover the knowledge of smithing that had been lost within the Taig. Eventually, House Helmi decided that Kal Harol was too important to be abandoned. At a tremendous cost of dwarven lives, they cleared the tunnels leading to Kal Harol of all Darkspawn, making the road between Orzammar and the fortress safe again. Kal Harol was reclaimed for Orzammar once and for all. As promised, Voldrick and Dworkin presented Orzammar's Shaperate with the stone marker that told of how Kal Harol's Castles had taken up arms against the Darkspawn. The commander of the Grey was invited to Orzammar as a guest of honor at a feast commemorating the defenders of Kal Harol. The Shaper read the names of the Castles off the marker, then presided over a ceremony to return them to the stone, as befitted warriors of their stature. In time, the Arling began to forget the tales of apparitions in the Black Marsh, and ever so slowly settlers drifted into the region. Scholars said the veil was still thin and thus the area still dangerous, but the people only cared that there were no longer frightened whispers in the shadows. The village was slowly rebuilt. Twice the Baroness's mansion was rebuilt and occupied, once by a wealthy merchant and another time by an Orlesian mage. Both died mysteriously. Afterwards, the mansion was torn down completely and the site left untouched. Yeah, that's for the best. Anders had a Darkspawn arrow protruding from his neck when his body was discovered at Vigil's Keep. In a circle around him, however, lay the corpses of over 100 Darkspawn, none touched by a blade, only magic. Valana never saw her clan again, but neither did she forsake her Dalish culture, nor her sharp tongue, nor her quick temper. After several years in the Grey Wardens, Valana disappeared one day. Most surmise that she left for the Deep Roads to resume the search for her sister, but no one knows for sure. After spending a number of years with the Wardens, Nathaniel realized the life was not for him. He said goodbye to his sister, Delilah, and his new nephew, then left to seek his fortune. In time, that nephew became a Grey Warden himself, in emulation of Nathaniel, then rose to Warden Commander. He brought honor to the Howe name once again. Kristoff's broken body was found in the ruins of Vigil's Keep. It was, of course, unclear whether the spirit of justice perished or simply departed. At the least, Kristoff's wife, Aura, was finally able to claim her husband's ashes. It was Sigrun who led the charge against the Darkspawn when Vigil's Keep was attacked. Once again, she had an army behind her, and once again, they fought Darkspawn with no hope of survival. This time, Sigrun did not flee. Oghren continued to regale young Warden recruits with tales of his prowess in both battle and bed. His drinking games prompted at least one recruit to declare that she'd rather reattempt the joining than lift another mug. At the Warden Commander's urging, Oghren took a more active role in this child's life. He visited Felsey often and wrote letters, which the Warden Commander graciously proofread nearly every week. As for the savior Ferelden, he did not remain as Commander of the Grey for long. The Darkspawn were no longer a real concern, the Blight well and truly over, it was time for him to move on. Some claim the Commander headed west into Orlais, chasing after the dark-haired sorceress who had fought alongside him during the Blight. Whether he found her or not, he certainly did not return to Vigil's Keep. And that is the Awakening DLC. There's another DLC, Golems of Amgarak, but that shit has no story implications whatsoever. And it's pretty much like, so you can unlock, if you beat it, you can unlock a weapon permanently through multiple playthroughs, but I don't plan on playing this game again for quite some time, A, and B, I'm getting a new PC very soon, so I probably won't even be able to transfer that progress over to another playthrough anyway. Like, I'm probably going to have to... All my shit's probably going to get deleted. I'm going to try to import my save to Dragon Age 2 at the very least, though. But there is... this is not the end, though, of this playthrough. There's still a little bit left. There is the Witch Hunt DLC, which isn't very long. It takes maybe about an hour or two. But there's that. And then this playthrough will be officially over. So, yeah, we're at the final stretch here.